Hello everybody, good afternoon. Welcome into my Watch Me Wednesday, episode number 103. Yep, over the century mark, believe it or not. Anyway, I hope you've had a great week. I have, I've been super busy, but I wanted to do a little tutorial for you today. So I hope you can join me here and let's get to it. So I don't know how many of you up there. Sarah's going to be watching this because I'm doing something with Deb Tucker's rulers today. So a lot of you may have seen me or taken a class of mine, and I am a huge proponent of there are many ways to get a block or something done. So, like making a half square triangle, there are a lot of different ways to make a half square triangle. There are a lot of ways to make a lot of different blocks in quilting. So if you're interested in an alternate way to make a square in a square block, hit that share button so that everybody can see, all your friends, and you can take part in this little demo. So this is a cool tool. Many of you know that I am a huge Judy Niemeyer addict because I am one of her certified instructors and certified shops, but I'm also a huge fan of Deb Tucker. She's been a friend of mine for quite a while. She has these wonderful, wonderful rulers, and I do use them. So for those of you who don't like paper piecing, this could be the method for you to make a square in a square block. So I want to show you, I've been playing around with the ruler, her squared block, and or squared ruler. So yeah, Tucker trimmer is amazing too, and I have done demos on that. But this one today, we're going to focus on squared. Now, I'm not going to go over specific sizes because in her instructions, she gives you specific sizes you can use, and she tells you on the ruler different strip sizes and square sizes, and depending on what your finished block is going to be is what you're going to do. So I'm just showing you a block that I'm making, but you could do whatever size you want according to the ruler. So I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to show you what we're doing here. I'm going to turn it down so you can see what you need to kind of get started. And I've got some stuff prepped. So what you're going to do, and I'm actually showing you with my Ancient Etchings fabric, you're going to start off with 2 strips basically. And yes, you can also fussy cut the center square in here. I didn't fussy cut because I just wanted to do strips, a quick, easy, down and dirty method. So you're going to cut 2 strips. So your one strip is going to be your center square strip, and the other strip is going to be your background fabric. So then out of those strips, you're going to cut your background squares and your center squares, depending on what size you want. And this ruler will do from up to a 6-inch finished block to down to a 1-inch finished block. And there's also a larger ruler that she has. So if you want to create larger than 6 inches, you can do the same. So you're going to cut, your strips up into these squares. Then from the background squares, you are going to cut these in half on the diagonal. I'll just take the ruler here and do the same. You're just going to line any ruler, and I just use this ruler down the center diagonal cut across, and it gives you your triangles. So you need these triangles for your background squares. Super, super simple, okay? Then what you're going to do is, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take that center square. So you're going to take one of your center squares, and if I can get, I got 2 stuck together here. How many people does that happen to? So you're going to take your center square, and then you're going to kind of align it in the middle. If you really want to find the middle, you certainly can. Deb recommends that you sew with a square on top. So you're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam down that side. Then you're going to go ahead and rotate to the other side and do the same. So you're going to put your other triangle on here, sew a 1/4 inch seam from the edge down the other side. Then once you have that done, which is here, you're going to press those seams out towards the background block, okay? So you can see how mine is pressed out towards the outside, and it's a 1/4 inch seam, okay? So now once you have that, you're going to take 2 more triangles and you're going to line them up on the edge of your center square block, and you are going to do the same thing. You're going to sew a 1/4 inch from the edge on each side, and if you want to mark the middle of the triangle in the middle of the block, you certainly can, but just so that it's, you know, basically in the middle. You're going to do that on one side. You're going to sew down the one side, and then you're going to rotate it, and you're going to do the other side with another triangle. Now, what I did is I chain pieced a bunch of blocks to do this. So I would chain piece down one side and then snip them apart, come around, chain piece down the other side. And then once you've got that done, this is what you end up with. You're going to press those last 2 out like you did the first one to the outside. So all your seams press outward towards the background block, okay? Now, for her ruler, for the center square, she gives you these guidelines where you can actually fussy cut. And I know it's probably hard for you to see because there's really, I probably could put let me see if let me grab this because, oh no, it's not plain on the back side. But I don't know if you can see those lines. But she gives you lines which you can actually line up and fussy cut your center square. So if you have like a motif you want to fussy cut, so this ruler will help you align that, and it will help you to cut those center squares out based on whatever strip size you're cutting. Now, here is the key. When you get to this point, you still have to trim this down, and I am a huge proponent of making the block bigger and trimming down. So when I write my patterns, I'm always trimming down. So let me see if I can get you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here, okay? Now, on this side of the ruler, she's got lots of markings here, and depending on what size block you have, you're gonna line up, there's X's in each corner that will surround the block. Now, for the size block that I'm doing, I want the number 4, those dark X's falling in the corner of my center square, and there is a dotted line that kind of lines right up with that seam, which is super perfect. So all I'm going to do is put a little pressure on that once I've got it aligned, and I'm going to trim my right side and the top side off, right? So you can see how much that I've trimmed off. Very little. So there's not a whole lot of waste. Then you're going to give this a half a turn. You're going to line it up again, same exact way. And oh, I should say, now that this is lined up here, you also want this line on, and in my case it's the 4.5 inch line. You want that lined up with the edge of the block where you trimmed it. So you're lining up 2 things, okay? So, oops, sorry, didn't trim that quite well there. Then that is what you end up with, a perfect square in a square block. So I did them out of my ancient etchings, so you can see I did a few, the llama and the Inca sun, so it's going to be bright and colorful. But the cool thing about this is that the ruler gives you a little trim down, but it gives you an exact block, and you also have an exact 1/4 inch here too. So your accuracy is going to come in too. If you're piecing these together to any other block, when you're piecing these together, make sure that you're coming right through that crosshairs on your stitch length on your stitches here, and you won't ever chop off those points. So your sewing has to be accurate as well. So I'm going to lift you guys back up so you can see my face again. So hang on. There we go. So anyway, so that is one cool way, other than paper piecing, to get a very exact block, okay? I am going to put a link for you above me at the end, so if you wanted to purchase Deb's ruler, I don't carry them, but I'm going to give you a link to her website so that you can purchase those. So this is another one of my favorite techniques. I love Deb's rulers because she gives you multiple sizes too, and you really get a nice crisp, clean block without paper piecing. If you're not a fan of paper piecing, now I'm not going to discourage you from trying paper piecing because I happen to love it too. So I hope you really like that. I like how it's really super quick, super easy to do. So, and the accuracy is really good. So, but I will say you have to have that accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you don't have that accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance in the end, when you start joining blocks together, you may end up lopping off a point, which you don't want to. So make sure if you haven't mastered that 1/4 inch, that you practice that and get that 1/4 inch seam allowance accurate, okay? So that is the tutorial for today, but I do have a public service announcement for you as well. The fabric that I was showing you too is available. I will put that link above my head. And there is a little, I think it's about a week and a half maybe left. If you're thinking of joining my online class, Paper Piecing the Cactus and Blooms Quilt, only a week and a half left to get it at the special introductory rate of $75. So lots of people have joined in and are really loving the course. I'll put the link above my head. But if you're interested in joining in my class, it's been great. People have been loving it, and I'm super excited that people are enjoying it. And I hope you will too. Please share the post so that if you're thinking of getting into it, you got a week and a half at that introductory, a week and a half left to think about it at the introductory price, and then it goes up. So anyway, I will be back next week. Hopefully I'll have another tutorial for you, or I'll have some other cool little things that I'll share with you. I haven't determined yet what next week will be, but I hope you've had a great week. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will see you all soon. Happy quilting, everybody. Love you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.